Alrighty guys, welcome to Tropical Weather Update. And first off, we're going to be looking at my graphic of my personal forecast. I used to show them at the end, but I think it's a little bit better to show them at the beginning of the video. So this is a little bit like the National Hurricane Center forecast, where they have the percentage in the next 5 days. So here is mine for the next 5 days. First off, the one in the Eastern Pacific there, those are the remnants of Nana. And I've given it a 70% chance in the next 5 days to become a tropical depression, a tropical storm. 40% in the next 2 days, so definitely a pretty good chance of this becoming our next tropical system in the Eastern Pacific. Back to the Atlantic, there you can see 3 disturbances in the main development region. One of the 40%, 2 of the 40% there. The one that's going to be coming off the coast of Africa. The other one is kind of meandering around this location, and I only had it as a 40% because it could actually merge with that 80% one, so it's still to be seen whether it will develop, but kind of going to stay around there. But at the moment, it looks like the 80% one and the 40% one are both going to go out to sea if they do end up forming. So that is good news on both sides of there in that case, of course. All right, now let's have a look at the National Hurricane Center forecast. As you can see there, fairly similar. Fairly similar there. They do have this one also as a 60% chance, higher than I have it. But they hold up, guys. But they have this one also as an 80%, this one as a 30%, and then they have a disturbance up there with a 0%. I had it as a 30% yesterday, but that has now. It probably will not become anything. It probably already was a subtropical depression, in my opinion, but at the moment it looks like it's going to be dissipating. And Omar still out there. And in the Eastern Pacific, they have it as a 60%. I have it as a 70%, so a little bit more confident on that. Alrighty, so here's Tropical Depression Omar, of course, but we're going to take a look at 91L and 92L. So here's 91L there. This is the one that I've given a 40%, kind of in the middle of the main development region, because it could merge with that 80% one. We're just not quite sure whether that's going to form or not. But it's a pretty nice area of showers and thunderstorm activity. You can actually see some rotation there. You have some, it looks like maybe some low-level rotation, but it really looks like some rotations there is happening, at least on the low level of things. So potentially some kind of closed-off low-level center they're trying to form, as I've been showing in my previous video, but definitely quite a lot of convection to it, and still, in my opinion, does have a decent chance of forming. You kind of got a center here, and then some dispersed showers there, isolated areas of blow up. But it looks like the center is around here, so definitely a system that we're going to have to watch for potential development if it is going to be merging or interacting, though, with that 80% one. But you can see here those low-level clouds, they're moving ever so slightly in this general direction, definitely indicating some kind of low-level or mid-level spin. Definitely. All right, so let's have a quick look now at those spaghetti models. So here are the spaghetti models. A lot of models have actually dropped the development of this, but most models kind of bring it northwestward a little bit like this, which, it's just going to render around this location and kind of not move that much. Again, lots of models have dropped the development of this, so not a lot to go on there. And then 4 models bring it a tropical storm status eventually, 1 to hurricane status, and then the other 3 to give it a depression. So not a lot to look at there, but something definitely that we could look at as a potential cyclone there. Invest 92L, on the other hand, is a whole lot more worrying, in my opinion. We're going to have a quick look on that. So it looks a little bit more disorganized there, but still a system there right on the Cape Verde Islands, as you can see. It has lost most of its convection. It was a pretty big area. But you can see, once again, some kind of spin to it. You can see those low-level clouds moving generally in this direction here, and then maybe some kind of clouds there. So not as closed off as the other one, but you can see some kind of rotation, maybe a little bit like this here. If we kind of look at those clouds there, it's very broad here. I'm just kind of drawing on the movement of the clouds. It's very, very broad how it's moving. But here's kind of the movement of those clouds based on each area. Again, very disorganized. but still some kind of rotation there uh, around that main convective blow up. So still a somewhat of an organized tropical wave, but overall it seems to be moving. It seems to be in a monsoon trough or in a monsoon wave where you've just got easterly and westerly winds, which does cause some kind of spin in the middle there. Alrighty, now let's have a quick look once again at those models. And so now models are in agreement that this will actually do a pretty interesting path. But this is what I'm saying. It looks like if it continues on this track, it looks like it could continue on its way and actually then kind of move north out to sea there. Kind of interesting, very interesting path there. But it really looks like it could just move straight north out to sea. So hopefully it won't impact any lands. At the moment, it really doesn't look like it'll impact any lands. Again, it just became an investment. Only one model forms there, but not a lot to go on that specific type of thing there. Alrighty, so now let's have a look at Michael's weather page there for a little more graphics on those. And let me find there. Alrighty. And let's have a look at that wind shear very quickly. So what those systems could have to deal with. Again, low wind shear for those storms right now. So very, very favorable conditions for the most part. Here are the spaghetti models for Invest 91L. Again, very dispersed, but generally going something like this. So probably, again, an out to sea track for the most part. Thankfully, of course, with this system as well, potentially an out to sea. So definitely, again, things to keep a very close eye on too. As you can see there, I'm not doing a very, very long update. I just don't really see the need for it there. But we'll quickly look at both the GFS and the European model at Windy for some indication of what we could see happening before ending this video there. So very, very quickly here, those are the remnants of Omar right here, and then this is the remnants of Nana, and then those are those two disturbances there off the coast of Africa. So this is the European model. So here's the European model's take on this. And as you can see, by that point, we have our two disturbances almost very close to each other there, which is why they could interact with each other and one could take the lead, which is what we start to see happening here with one disturbance right here and the other one right here, pretty much right on top of each other there, which is really what we were expecting. And then they kind of spin around each other, and one of them, kind of takes over there. You can see that other one down there still visible, but one of them do end up taking over, but the other one remains a potential formation area. And now you can see all those though. You can see the one coming off the coast of Africa there. So they still remain. It still remains a broad area of low pressure, and on the Europeans model take, especially two of them do end up forming. That one kind of dies off here. This one goes generally toward the Leeward Antilles, and this one goes a little bit more north of that. Of course, this is just one run of one model, but this is just the take of those models. And then it actually forms another very strong tropical cyclone coming off the coast of Africa there. So very, very, disturbing things that we're looking at here. But here's something that a little bit see then. So then this one here that moved here, it seems to kind of die off there while those two really tribe and become a whole lot stronger. And you can clearly see that on this European model here. And again, we could see that this wave here does end up moving out to sea, like this one did also. It also moved out to sea. So it looks like we're going to have maybe a big wave of out to sea storm there. But then we get this absolutely massive storm. So this one does end up moving out to sea. But then we get just this monstrous tropical cyclone there, potentially already a very strong hurricane. It looks like maybe up to around Cat 2, Cat 3, and already at that point, imagine looking at a Cat 2 or Cat 3 right here. So very disturbing. Reminds me of Irma, which was a Category 3, and it became a Cat 5 here, and actually, as you remember, went towards Florida. So very, very disturbing to see there. But hopefully, if that does end up happening, you can see how high the high pressure is, which would bring it like this one out to sea. But now let's look at the GFS model on that exact same time frame. And as you can see, it has a very different story. Still, those two very powerful storms, just has a different location. One of them much more north, one of them much weaker, but much more south, with the high pressure being much more northeast, which just changes the entire thing, of course, for this particular model run. All right, so this was a quick rundown. I'm also going to have an update on Super Typhoon Haishan. I believe that's how you pronounce it, later today. So that was a quick rundown on the tropics. I'll have more detailed updates later on.